What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. We have a very special guest with us, longtime friend, colleague, La Familia member, Chavo Guerrero Jr. in the house.
Man. What's up, La Familia?
Kayfabe action figure collector as of last week when you posted that picture on Instagram.
Super kayfabe, you know, we got to keep our markness. We're all marks. We keep it, kind of under wrap a little bit, that goes.
We always say, Zach and I have this show, and we came out of our mark closet completely.
That's right.
In being, the host of this show, because it's just, all bets are off the things we talk about on here, so it's okay. You're in a safe place.
Who's got more action figures?
Chavo, I don't know if you know this, but I am the Michael Jordan of wrestling figure collecting, and he's the Scottie Pippen.
So I had a decent career, so it's okay.
Well, yeah, that's what I've seen you guys. You guys have been have kept all the Jack's figures and all the Mattel in business for the last 5 years, 10 years.
Jax knew that, but Mattel didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jax are awesome, right? Jax gave you a bunch of stuff.
Jax would give us everything, give us like the prototypes. Mattel pretended we didn't exist.
Yeah, I gotta say, Jax had
welcome to my world.
Jax had a much friendlier wrestler and company relationship for sure.
So that's what people don't understand. I know that your viewers probably know a whole lot more about podcasting. I mean, action figure collections and stuff than I do, whatever you call it. But that's one thing that people think that you actually, they give you all your merchandise and they really just don't. So when I left the WWE, I think I had like 2 figures that I actually had collected. And I'm like, you know what? I better start getting some of these and collecting them just because, it's probably something that, it's not going to be around forever. So I started going on eBay and buying different things. And I had like 21, 22 figures. And I was like, wow, what am I going to do with all these now? And then I saw what you guys were doing when you guys hung them on the walls. I'm like, let me do that in my gym. And that my wife only lets me get away with so much. Like if you see awesome. In the background here, this is like the only memorabilia
That's right.
in the entire downstairs house is these 3 titles.
I always say you got to find the balance between the Matt Hardy shrine to yourself and, just a couple little...
Exactly. Matt Hardy
cool
lights
things.
candles every day for himself. He's got like delete painted on his walls and stuff.
Yeah.
I wish I was that over that I could get delete painted on my walls.
Right.
Yeah. But last week on the show, since you posted that picture of all the figures in your gym, we talked about all of your figures, our favorite ones. I actually, on air, bought one of your figures. It was like $65, which is expensive. It was one of your WrestleMania 20 figures. I don't know if you know that one. It's got the bandana.
I have that one, and then there's a is it that one? Yeah, that one. But there's a special edition one too that's got me like a heavyweight title belt. That's it's 1 to 500. And when I signed those are pretty expensive too. Yeah.
The first time Brian and I, what really made us become friends is that we tell this story a million times. I don't know if you know this, but that WrestleMania 20 set, the one that you're in, his friend hid it for him at Toys R Us, and we just met. Wow. And he's like, "Hey, let's go and we'll split it 3 and 3." I said, "That sounds great." But then I called my dad. I said, "Dad,
behind my back, Chavo.
There's all 6 of these figures there. I think it's like Undertaker, Eddie, you, Christian." And I'm like, "Dad, they're all up there." And then my dad bought them all for me. And then me and Brian went. I'm like, "Where'd they go?"
Chavo, this story's worse.
He works you. He
works me. This is years later. We're drunk, in developmental. And he goes, "Bro, I gotta tell you this. I sent my dad that day to get the figures." I'm like, "What?" Years later, for no reason, he confesses this. I'm like, but we were both fans and in the crowd at WrestleMania 20, so we really wanted that set. It was a big deal to us.
That's cool. That was a good WrestleMania, man. That 20, that was a big one. Even though.
Well, didn't you win, Chavo?
Yes. I was a WrestleMania winner.
You won the Cruiserweight title at the Garden at WrestleMania 20. That must have been cool.
That pay-per-view was pretty good. I just happened to win at WrestleMania at MSG.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I literally, we had, it was a Cruiserweight, open type thing, and my dad was in my corner. So the last 2 was going to be me and Ray, and, we probably had like 8 minutes. But when we actually got in there, because everybody else took their sweet time, we had like a minute and a half. So we were just trying to get through it and rushing and hitting our times. And
Hey,
it was
poor
back
Ultimo Dragon was rushing so hard he fell, and that's all anyone ever remembers about.
I know, right? I know, totally. When I go back and look at it, man, I'm actually I was pretty pleased with it. I mean, for the time, it was actually pretty. It was fun.
So tell me this: growing up, what kind of toys did you play with as a kid?
Oh man, dude, I was all over the GI Joes. Like, remember the GI Joes action with all the different points of articulation?
Yeah,
I was all into those.
Stuff.
Yeah, totally. I was all into those. I mean, I used to have the old wrestling figures. The wrestling that were just like stuck, right? The Mexican ones, right? The Mexican ones.
Okay, yeah.
Right, the Mexican ones, and you have like you get the ring. The ring was just like some little, it had like tire rope things, and you had like El Santo, and he was just like stuck. He wouldn't move, so he'd jump off the top rope like this. He'd do everything like this. No, but so then when they start coming out with the actual wrestling figures, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then you get one of your own, and they give you money. I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing.
Right. That part's always like surreal that like you get paid for it with something that I'm sure 99.99% of people in the world would just do for free, right? Oh, you want to make a toy of me?
Exactly, right? Toys or the video games, right? When we get a video game, we're on a video game, like, wow, this is amazing. Oh, and they pay us? Wow, this is even better.
I think for me, video game, getting like a t-shirt and figure were like, oh my God, I can't believe that I have this. But about t-shirts, La Familia got screwed out of a t-shirt. There was no La Familia shirt.
I always thought, I feel like the four of us, well, five of us, you count Vicky, we all kind of dropped the ball that we didn't push for that more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? I definitely think that we did, man. It's like, so it's one of those that we kind of like you're in the mid, like you look back on your careers and all the things you should have done, but we totally should have. And it would have been, I mean, I don't know if it would have sold, but hey, we would have been
something timeless though, something simple, like
I think a big picture of Bam Neely and all of us next to him.
Totally, big old Bam.
Chavo, do you feel cheated that you never got a 2-pack with Bam Neely?
Yeah, you know what? I do. I should have. I got one Hornswoggle. That's okay.
I love that one. That showcases the feud you had with Hornswoggle, and you guys are actually kind of like in action.
I'm chasing him.
Yeah, it makes it very unique.
Can't catch him. I still can't catch him.
Well, you might be able to now because he's fat as.
Oh, that dude. Every time I see him, I'm like, dude, you're getting bigger. He's awesome, though. I love him.
He's got a badunkadunk.
He's the little mascot to our show, so we always make fun of him. We say that he's all dirty and his hands are covered in doo-doo and chocolate. Yeah. And but we love him. We love him.
He's awesome.
Little midget.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's one of those guys too. I love going out with him like in a bar because I mean, he can dance and he's fun. He's not just some little guy that's just kind of there. Because you have sometimes the people that they don't embrace their God-given talents, you want to call it, and then you're just quiet, whatever. Well, that kid just, man, he lets it all hang loose.
I think that's made him so beloved by all the boys. It's so fun to go out with him. It's like never a dull moment kind of thing.
Yeah, it's real fun until you literally have to carry him on your shoulder out.
Break your back. That's why you got to get the luggage cart and push him around. That's right.
That's right. So other things I used to play as kids, I remember the Stretch Armstrong, the actual Stretch Armstrong.
One, yeah.
So I'm a little bit older than you guys. But I remember to get my tonsils out and they'd bring me Stretch Armstrong. And then I had his, the nemesis was like a green guy that could stretch really, really big. I don't know if you guys remember that. So I'd get that. I had so my dad would come back from Japan and get all the latest cool toys out. So I'd have Ultramans and Godzillas and all the stuff that you couldn't get here. It wasn't now that, the world's so much smaller now with the internet and stuff. But, back then if it was in Japan, you couldn't get it here. So we'd get the first Walkmans ever made. People didn't even know what they were. It was crazy.
That's really cool.
But toys, he always would just give me the cool new toys things I'd put in the, in my bathtub and have a little motor and be like a boat and scroll all the way around. And my friends all wanted to take baths with me. I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Did he bring you Pepe from Japan, or where'd you find Pepe?
Pepe. No, Pepe was I was turning crazy, and we went to a barbecue over at Eddie's house, and Fit Finley was there, Dean Malenko and stuff, and I saw his daughters riding around this little stick horse. I go, oh man, we're in Tampa tonight. I'm going to use that. So I took it and used it. And the next week I didn't come out with it. And there was signs for Pepe all over the place. It was people sign Pepe, World Order, PW, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh man. Eddie looks at me and goes, you did it to yourself. Now you got to come out on a stick horse all the time. I'm like, oh man. Oh, yeah, all right.
Do you feel that you got slighted in WCW, that you never got like a WCW action figure? Because they had that license at the time. They were pumping out a lot of figures, and you never got one.
The way WCW worked was that, like, when I got to WWE, I saw WWF at the time. I saw how it's supposed to work, where all certain departments were working towards one goal. WCW, no one was really ever policed, so people just did whatever they wanted to do. So the people that were in charge of action figures and T-shirts and stuff, they just didn't even care. So I remember Kevin Nash one time. Now, Kevin Nash was one of the most over guys in all of the company, and he talked. The merchandise girl was trying to talk to him, and he was kind of blowing her off. And she's, "What's wrong?" And he goes, "He's at catering," and he goes, "Well, why should I be talking to you? You've cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars." And she was like how? And he's like, "Because you're missing the boat on so many things. I mean, just think, a Pepe would have sold like crazy. I mean, literally, people were buying them and bringing them.
Yeah,
really, they would have sold even like little Pepe things, like keychain things, like it would have sold. I mean, WCW was so over at the time, just different things. And it was just the same things. It was Hulk Hogan, it was Macho Madness, and it was NWO. That's it.
Yeah. And Goldberg, and Goldberg there.
Goldberg stuff, at the end, for sure. But like even that, by the time we got there, like I don't even remember a whole bunch of Sting merchandise really anymore. Like it got overshadowed. Like all the none of the cruiserweights really had too much. I don't even think Eddie really had much at all. I mean,
Eddie got screwed. I always think Eddie got completely screwed.
He didn't have. He got action figures later from from WWE when they went back to the throwbacks. After his death, but. I think he had one shirt like as the Radicals, maybe not the Radicals, the Filthy Animals. Had a shirt, but there was no. They didn't do them. I mean, Rey Mysterio. Just think of the merchandise.
I know, right?
Phenom Rey Mysterio is, and they didn't do any of that stuff.
They took the mask away.
They took the mask away. Yeah, they took the
mask away. Why do you want a mask? Just show your real face. Be like everybody else, right?
Jesus,
unbelievable.
I know, guys.
So when you get your first action figure with WWE, is there like that sense of accomplishment for you? Like, are you proud, or what was that like? Do you remember?
For sure, absolutely. Getting to WWE, WWF at the time was the big leagues. Even though we were competing with them, and at times we were beating. WCW was beating WWF on the ratings. Getting to WWF at the time we made it to the NFL of wrestling. That's what it was. To get recognized, because it took me about a year and a half to really. I was kind of came in that takeover angle, the invasion angle, and it was kind of, everybody got lost in the shuffle. They used a few people, Booker T, a couple of the big tag team guys, but they weren't using a whole bunch of the other guys. And we just little by little started creeping in. So then to finally get an action figure, I was like, this is pretty cool. I think that I don't know if it was the first one, Stamboli maybe or something.
No, then your first one is actually, it's like the first, they switched styles, so it's this brand new style of figures, and it's Cena, Orton, you, Bischoff, Brock, and Ray.
It's pretty iconic set to wrestling figure collectors, because it ushered in the new era. It's a big deal.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
And then you got the 2-pack with Stamboli, which, do you have any idea why?
I have no clue. And it's funny because he and I would joke about it every once in a while, because we have different political views, put it that way. I love Johnny, but he's his own guy, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I think I started following him on Twitter or whatever it was, because he was so over the top. And he sends me a picture of the 2-pack and goes, "No matter how you feel, we'll always be together." You're right.
Holy cow.
You're right, bro.
So maybe after this interview, Hornswoggle will do the same thing. Send you a picture of the 2-pack.
And then I'll unfriend him too.
So, like you said, you wound up getting upwards of 20 something. So you got a lot of cool ones. To wrap it up, what are some of the ones that stick out in your mind that mean the most to you, or that are the coolest looking to you, or what really sticks out?
So stuff with, definitely the WrestleMania 20 winner. That's pretty cool. Stuff with Eddie. We only had one. People think that we were together a really long time, but we were only together for about a year. So we got one 2-pack together. That was it. And stuff with Ray. I had a really cool one with Ray, Ray Booker, Ray and Booker. We were doing that angle, and
you're wearing like a fake Affliction shirt.
Yeah, you're wearing like a Target Affliction shirt. Yeah.
Well, it was Affliction, but they had to make it look nice. Yeah.
Little they know how expensive those shirts were back in the day, man.
I was sponsored by Affliction. So I had so many of them. I used to give them away to people. I had like $10,000 worth of just Affliction stuff, and then like a year later, then you couldn't wear any of it anymore. Right? I went from 1 year being the coolest guy on the block to then a year later, like probably not so much anymore.
Out of all the figures they made, I think they should have made a shirt, like a street clothes Chavo with removable dress shirt, so when you went to the club, you could just take off the shirt and swing it around, get all sweaty.
That would have been the best inside joke. That would have been the best inside joke, because people knew once, it wasn't a party until Chavo took his shirt off, right?
That's right. I told the story last week on the pod. It's like one night you brought us out to this club in Laredo, Texas, and I was so drunk, and that's when I started doing like the woo stuff, like in real life. And people heard it and told me I should just do it on TV because it was so annoying. So I had to thank you, Chavo, because it was one night, Laredo, Texas, after some random SmackDown show.
Oh, man.
And that's where it started.
We took over the bar, right?
That's right. It was a huge place. I remember it was like upstairs. Like it was huge.
Yeah, so they took it and shut it down for just us. Yeah, that's right.
And there was no shirt on Chavo.
No way. I think I walked in without a shirt.
I remember there was like
in the car.
I remember that night there was like free steaks just for the boys, like just a big ass Fred Flintstone sized steak you just take for free. I was like, good Lord, this is amazing.
Yeah, people think that we get hooked up like that all the time, but it's not true.
No.
Every once in a while, we would get hooked up, like the big time hook up with food and alcohol and rides home and whatever, but it was good times. When it happened, it was good times.
It's a different era now. Like nobody wants to do anything after the shows now. Even I have to like twist Brian's arm. Like, let's go do something. Like, no, I'm fasting. I can't eat anything. I'm like, come on, dude.
Hey, man.
That's crazy, man. Because you guys were the chiller ones and relaxed. We gotta get you guys out. Now you guys are the ones bringing people out. That's crazy. It's crazy to me, because from the era that I grew up in, to see my dad and all the crazy guys out there, that you have to be insane to even be in this business.
Yeah.
And just to see where it's at now. You have to be a little off your rocker to be able to be on the road like that all the time, be away from your family and take bumps like that. For sure. Yep. But now it's like I don't know, I'm not there, but I hear that they have everybody walking on eggshells so much and no one wants to do anything. Well, back then when we first started, man, it was like my mentors were. I mean, I had Kurt Hennig in the locker room, and Ric Flair, and Arn Anderson, and Benoit, and Eddie, and Finley, and Regal, and we were just kind of going ape shit. I was just following along with those guys, but they didn't care. They'd go out party, they'd get up in the morning and train. Then they'd rustle their butts off and do it again every night. And it's and that was then with my dad's era. Oh, it was even crazier. That's when people didn't know that, or they may have known, but they didn't listen that steroids and cocaine were bad for you. That's all they did.
The good old days, man.
It's like now I think like sometimes on like an overseas tour, a couple of guys will go out, but like after like a Raw or SmackDown, at least for the people I was hanging out with, nobody ever wanted to do anything. As before, it was like, you want to go with this group or this group or this group. Now it's like impossible to find something to do.
That part has really changed. Yeah.
To me, that's boring. It's boring. It's like we go ape on the road if if I was just sitting in the room watching, foreign TV, I would go literally insane.
Yeah.
You guys kept me sane. Like literally going out and seeing with the boys, it kept me sane to be able to, be able to, wake up in the morning and do this again.
It got to a point that there was nothing going on, that we started a podcast about wrestling figures, and we would do it on the road on Monday nights
instead of going to our room and talk about toys.
There was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
There was nothing to do.
And then you'd have WWE go, no, you guys can't do that. Oh, you guys are getting over? Wait a minute. You can't do that without us. I remember. So I was proud of you guys when I started. I'd already left, but I'd seen you guys getting over, doing your stuff, doing your internet, champion stuff, all the different things that was going on with it. And I was like, podcast. I was like, oh, right. It was like a YouTube show, right? You guys had going on. And then I heard, I don't know if it's true, but that they made you shut it down or whatever it was. And I was like, what's the story?
Oh man, we don't have all the time for that.
Yeah, we don't have enough time. Like, long story short, they made me bring it over to the WWE channel. It was like on my own thing, and then I brought it over there. It completely neutered it, you know. Like, it was still like I was still the one editing it and filming it, blah 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 blah.
Right.
But hey, you know, happens, right? It's over. It was a fun little year, but then the second year kind of sucked.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was proud of you guys actually going out and doing it. And I firm believer they dropped the ball on you guys 100%. You guys were getting over totally. You guys are over, and just never really doing stuff with you guys. And it's, but you know, whatever. You know, it's one of those that you always think, well, why are they pushing that guy, but not that guy?
Hey, that's
why did they fire
the
that
business.
guy? That guy
That's never going to change. You know, it's like
blows my mind.
Let's end it with this on a little wholesome note. I know you're a father, just like myself. Zach has cats. Okay,
I have 3 cats.
3 cats.
Cat daddy.
Any cool moments of your sons playing with your figures or things like that made you proud to be a dad?
Oh yeah. So, you know, because they grew up in business, always having, you know, my action figures around and playing the video games, that they just thought that every dad had this. So they'd be like, hey, I'm going to be, you know, my dad. You want to be your dad? But his friends would be like, my dad doesn't have an action figure, or doesn't have a doll. What do you mean he doesn't have a doll? Here, you could be my dad too, you know. We'd be playing, he would be playing, you know, a video game with me, and he's like, okay, so I'll challenge my dad against your dad. And the guy's like, I don't. My dad's not on TV. You know, they couldn't grasp that.
Yeah,
they actually thought that I worked. They thought I worked at the airport, because they would drop me off at the airport and pick me up 4 days later.
Wow.
So every time we passed by the airport, they go, look, Daddy's work. Daddy's work. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Now they're 20 and 17, but.
Oh man, what's that like?
Oh man. Well, I got one in college.
Wow.
And that's pretty. Yeah, he's in a fraternity house. The fraternity wants me to rush.
Oh,
they want me to try to be part of the fraternity, because I'm the one doing. I'm doing cake stands.
Yeah, shirts coming off. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like they're passing around like some black velvet cheap whiskey, and I'm like, no. I go grab a Crown or and they're like, yeah, your dad's the best.
Oh man.
But yeah. That's fun. You know, it's good. You know, I got good boys, and they're. It's cool just to see them, you know, grow and become men. You know,
absolutely,
cool.
Something special, man.
Yeah, man. How old's your son, Brian?
I have a daughter. She's 3, and I have another baby girl on the way in about less than a month here, with the countdown's on.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know why I thought you had a son, but wow, that's good for you, man. I know you guys are getting old. My little. Zach and Cody are getting old.
Yeah. You should see Broski's bald spot. He's getting really old.
Hey,
hey, we're gonna go to leave off the bald spots.
Hey, no,
I shaved it.
I would say you went in reverse order like Gallows, man. You were losing it and then got it back. You looked younger than ever.
Yeah, totally. Gallows started losing it when he was like 18.
I think younger. Yeah.
When we first met Gallows, I thought he was like this 45-year-old journeyman. He was like 23.
I know, totally. I remember one time that he's Terry Funk was talking to everybody, you know, and he's telling a story about the old times, and he looks at Gallows. Well, you remember?
That's a true story. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh
God.
Well, Chavo, thank you very much for being on the show. I mean, it's so cool to someone that we grew up watching, then became buddies with, and now after all these years, we can still shoot the and it's like. You hear the old saying, like, it feels like there's, like, time hasn't passed. You know, it feels like we talked yesterday, hung out yesterday. We were a lot familiar yesterday, but it's been like almost 10 years.
It's true, right? It's true. You know, that's just with the boys, guys, and people that are watching. That's something that we all miss, is that camaraderie, because I compare it to, it's not the same, but compare it to being in the trenches of, like, with other soldiers, because we're just constantly under the stress of wrestling and traveling and being away from our families, and we're together at all times. Like, we'll like live and die for each other. And then you don't have it anymore. You're like, oh man, like I love doing indie shows. I meet the fans for sure, but see the boys.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
It's awesome.
Man, yeah. Well, can't thank you enough, man. You were cool to us from day one. You never had to be, and you were just always awesome. And
you guys were awesome.
we were blessed for that time.
You guys should take all the bumps for us.
Yeah. Oh, hey, man, we were 22. We could do it then, We were blessed to have that experience with you guys, man. We learned so much. So we're forever in debt.
Totally.
Well, guys, thank you, guys. We love you, man. You guys are your A1 players, man. I can't see what's next on the agenda for you guys as soon as your 30 days or your 60 days is up.
90 days since we're doing here,
90
bro.
days.
I think we got like 60 left.
Just enjoy the paycheck because you guys are definitely making way more than we made when we were there. I tell you what, I wish there was an AEW around when we were there. Like me and Eddie would have made 10 times the money we made.
Yeah, right.
But whatever. Yeah, I'm so happy to see the boys actually making some great money and being taken care of. Okay, so that's great.
Absolutely.
Good for you guys, man, and hope to see you guys in the ring. We'll meet up. We'll run into some
Familia reunion coming soon.
WrestleCon, baby. WrestleCon.
I can't wait. Oh no, for sure.
We'll get Teddy Long back.
Get Teddy Long. Vicky, come out, manage us, some kind of 6-man. I'll be in heaven.
That would be awesome, man.
Bam Neely's got to be somewhere, right?
Yeah, we'll find Bam Neely too.
Yeah, I think Bam. He just dropped out. I think he was like the manager of a strip club or something like that last time.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was actually. Yeah.
Right.
Too bad Edge is out, main event in WWE.
Yeah, that guy.
He has to get his neck good and go back to wrestle. Really, bro?
Can you believe that?
Edge.
He's so selfish, ruining the La Familia reunion.
I know.
And Adam, you decide to go back and make a like a 7-figure deal. You suck, bro. You suck. You ruined it for all of us.
All right, Chavo. Thank you so much for being on the pod. We love you. You're the man.
Thanks, bud.
You too, guys. Be safe. God bless you guys. Keep in touch. We'll see each other soon, all right?
You got it.
See you, bud.
Bye, guys.